Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, where we'll be speaking about some of the recent highlights and what's new to Sugar. My name's Lizzie Heywood, Global Account Director, and I'm joined this afternoon by my colleague, Andy. Andy, would you like to do a quick intro?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Andy Yeates. I'm one of the senior solution consultants here at Sugar, and we're taking you through some of the recent updates to the product, and hopefully you'll find something there that will be helpful in your business.
So let's have a chat, Andy, about what's new. So we're hoping over the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to be able to talk through some of the release highlights for our customers. I think what we're looking to do today is really pinpoint some of those key areas where we can help users drive adoption and really get the most from Sugar by capitalizing some of these new features. Dashboards. This is such a great place to start. We've been doing, we've had lots of enhancements of dashboards over the last few releases, and it's still an area where customers absolutely love to use dashboards because they can make them relevant. But at the same time, there's so many customers that perhaps aren't using dashboards. And from my understanding is some of the recent highlights to our dashboards, we're helping users overcome that by using or adding some out-of-the-box persona dashboards. Can you talk to us about that, please, Andy?
Yeah, sure. So, as you may have seen on our club and some of our release announcements, we've been kind of recognizing that we see a lot of the same kind of roles again and again inside organizations that we work with. And whether you're an executive, whether you're a sales rep, a sales manager, you'll need slightly different things on your dashboard. So rather than kind of giving all the tools there and customers kind of having to do it them all themselves, which Sugar's always tried to help customers mold the application around their business rather than being forced to do it the other way around. But we thought it'd be helpful to actually give some reference examples of how this could work for those common roles. So here you see, for example, one of the executive dashboards that will come out the box, and this gives you a nice blend of chart-based information, which you can drill down, which I'll show in a second, but also some of the key kind of lists and key kind of views that people need to see when they're looking across the different parts of the business. So obviously from an executive perspective, you're going to want to look across not just sales, but maybe across marketing, across customer service. If I was to then look at the dashboard list here, you'll see I've got ones for the sales rep. So I go into sales rep. Here you can see, much more of a kind of a to-do list, or a kind of less of a kind of reporting interface, more of a here's all my open opportunities, here's the leads I need to call, here's my performance, and so on. So one of the things that the way we've done this is that you can see these reference dashboards, and these can be and these will be continue to evolve as we add new functionality and as we adapt based on feedback. But also you can copy these and then personalize them to your own requirements, so you're not having to start from a blank slate each time.
So I guess what we've tried to set out to achieve over the recent releases, in the past, customers would need to build dashboards, but actually that need goes away to some degree, and we're actually offering out-of-the-box persona-built dashboards where users can log in the morning and absolutely see what's relevant to them in terms of how to do their job more effectively and be more productive, which is something we're all trying to achieve. That's brilliant. That's really, really helpful. And like I said, dashboards is something that customers not often enough are using. So I think having these persona-based dashboards is really going to help customers be using dashboards from the get-go. Thanks, Andy. And so this obviously hosts a lot of information, surface a lot of information for our end users. How do we dig into some of this data and interrogate? Is there a way that we can open up the different charts, dashboards to see further information?
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things that we've tried to do is to really reduce the number of clicks and to make it as easy as possible to access the information that you need. So, with dashboards, ideally, if they're built around the role, they should give you access to all your essential information from that single view. So it's almost like a custom navigation to everything you care about. So here, for example, is in our sales management dashboard, and from here I can say if I find one of these let's say top 20 accounts down the bottom here, I can open one of the focus drawers here, which will allow you to, within the dashboard, be able to quickly see all the information that you want to see for that on this focus drawer without having to leave the dashboard. And from here, for example, you can see all the account information about the British Heart Foundation. You can see all the related modules. You can see, timelines. And again, all these things here are configurable. So if you've got different things that you need to see in these views, you can do that as part of the focus drawers. They can all be configured via the studio in the back end. So here's, this one's got quite a lot of things on it, but it really shows you that, from that role-based dashboard, you can access and update information without, in a simple click, basically. You'll also notice in here as well, we've also added a few things like in recent releases around things like action buttons. So you can see here, I could, for example, add a quick note just by hitting this button here. It will pop out the note drawer, and these action buttons allow you to kind of create controls that the users can use to quickly perform certain actions. This could be, like, as you say, adding a note. It could be, logging a call. It could be triggering a downstream kind of system change or a downstream integration. But yeah, it's really a configurable way of allowing users to kind of make the interface as easy as possible to to interact with.
I think that's brilliant, because again, it's less clicks. So trying to, get to the things we need to do quickly without having to, navigate through different accounts, contact leads, etc. We're taking it all from one dashboard and be able to make actions, call to actions in that one screen also. That's brilliant. I know there's lots of customers using this that absolutely, love this, and they agree that it drives user adoption and helps their users get more from the system.
Absolutely.
So when we're talking about, there's obviously, again, like I said, there's lots of information on this page, which is brilliant. And you've also, quite rightly pointed out that these dashboards can hold as much or as little as information as what's relevant. People can configure their dashboards accordingly. How can we drill down on some of these reports then to, again, interrogate that data and understand exactly, what's behind the reports?
Absolutely. So one of the things that, as I mentioned before, it's, the dashboard is really the hub of Sugar. If you get them right, then, you'll spend a lot of your time on these dashboards. So, the being able to drill down into these different segments means that you can again use it as a custom navigation to everything you care about. So here I've selected the this part of the sales funnel, and it will show me all the different line items that are, or opportunities that are in that section. If I select this different segment, it will change the view to show the different segment. So again, it just means that you from the single dashboard, I can then go into the segments within that chart, and can then potentially either open the record in its entirety, or open up that particular line item. So if I just open the full record here rather than the focus drawer, you'll see it nests these the full 360 view of the opportunity, but within that focus drawer. So again, saving that kind of multiple windows, multiple clicks to get to to a particular record. You can see all that information straight from that drill down off the chart. And you'll also notice here that I've got the action buttons that I just mentioned can also be shown in the kind of header of these records as well. So this could be generate a proposal, for example, in this case.
That's absolutely brilliant. And again, it just goes back to, you really can access so much from those dashboards. So getting those dashboards right can really, really help to drive that user adoption and help us, do our job more effectively.
Absolutely.
I love that. Thanks, Andy. And, as everybody would expect, we are a customer of our own, of our, SugarCRM. And this is one of the pieces that, internally we love the most, making sure that we're getting the dashboards right to help us do our jobs the best we possibly can. So in terms of these dashboards are brilliant. Is there a way, there's lots of different reports on this dashboard, which is obviously what we need to bear in mind. Is there a quick way that we can filter all of these dashboards in one go rather than having to go through each dashboard individually? So dashboard filters.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because this is a feature that I think is pretty killer, to be honest, in terms of I've worked with Sugar a long time, so 10 years or so I've seen the evolution of the product. And one of the things that people would often do is have multiple dashboards, because a report would be set for a particular thing, and then you have a different report or a different dashboard for a different kind of filter or a different group. So we added the ability to not only can you filter on a particular dashlet. So here you can see on this little filter icon here, I can, select a particular, I could say, remove this and select all of the users here, and then basically apply this. That would change the pipeline to not just be Chris as it was before. It would show me the pipeline for the entire people I've selected. So you can do it on individual dashlet level, and you can also see the tabular data that sits within that as well, which is another feature that was quite commonly asked for, and we've added recently as well. But the other piece that you just mentioned there is, so it's great to be able to filter on one thing there, which is great, but also you're able to do a full dashboard, global dashboard filtering. So you'll see here the account type, see the blue outline around these top 3 charts here. So if I take it off and take it on, you'll see that this is saying that this filter applies to these 3 charts. So if I was to change this from customer to say customer retail and apply it, and you look at the numbers here in a second, you'll see all these change when I apply that filter. So basically what it's doing is giving you multiple ways of changing the dashboard without having to create multiple dashboards. So common use cases here are things like, territories or brands or products. You could quickly see, well, for this territory, how we're performing, and all the charts that you want to change can all relate to that one single filter. Again, saving a lot of time. And then once you've applied that, you can then again drill down, see the information, and interact with it. So all these things combined really kind of sell the power of the dashboards and how they can really help drive adoption.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely brilliant. And we introduced the dashboards, and certainly one of the key asks from customers is how can we update all of the charts in one go, and that's hit exactly that. So that's brilliant. Thank you for sharing that, Andy. So we've covered a lot there in terms of that. Dashboards are so important in terms of helping user adoption, ensuring that people, what we deliver to them is the right information at the right time. We've also seen that we can interrogate that data using focus draws, so we don't have to navigate away to different pages. And we've also then seen that there's an easy way to use action buttons to automate as much as possible and take away the clicks. So appreciate that. That's really useful, and hopefully there's lots of customers on the call or watching this webinar that will benefit from that. Let's talk about the 360-degree view, because this is another thing that everybody's trying to achieve, that that right view, that view that delivers a 360-degree view of their customers. Can you talk us through some of the enhancements we've seen over the last few releases to enhance that 360-degree view, please, Andy?
Yeah, no worries, Lizzie. I think actually I'll go back to the record that I showed you before. So before I used the focus draw to go into the British Heart Foundation, but this time I'll go into the full 360 view. So if I click into this, here you can see the full 360 view. This has obviously got a few extra fields in just for this demo environment, and one of the things here is that one of the things you may or may not have seen before, but a lot of our customers, we've done a lot of enhancements to this over recent releases, is our Sugar Automate. And this allows you to create guided processes for different modules within Sugar. So this is for an account record. So this is showing you a kind of a yearly account planning, for example. But this could also be used for cases, for opportunities. And what it's there to do is to guide. It'll be a visual guide to all the things that you need to do. And it's not just kind of creating a list that is, it's just a standalone list. All of these different templates that you can define actually create all the underlying tasks, underlying meetings. So as you kind of go through these and complete them, either by clicking the box that I've just done here, or by clicking I held the meeting on the meeting record on your mobile, in Outlook or whatever, it will just kind of update the system here. It can also be updated via workflow as well, which is some of the recent improvements we've done there. So this is a really helpful way to have consistency, good governance across your organization, especially if you've got a big organization, where people are. There could be different ways of doing things. You can try to instill a consistent process. And it's also a really helpful way just to see where you are and what you need to do next. Another quite useful thing actually as well, which just while we're talking about it, I think it could be quite useful to mention. And it's not something that we've released just yet, but it's something that is very much part of where we're the kind of path of direction that we're moving towards at Sugar is really trying to embrace AI and how that can be woven into the platform as part of the core platform, to augment that human kind of human interaction with the system, but also to have an extra lens to be able to see what you should prioritize or help you do your job. So this is actually our own internal version of Sugar. Obviously, we're customer number one for all of our new releases to make sure that we we understand and we can fine tune it before we release it to our customers. And one of the things you'll see is that this is on the right hand side here. It's actually showing it's looking at the entire 360 view of a record, and it will then summarize all the information about this opportunity in this case. And so you can see from a kind of a executive summary perspective all the key things that have happened so far, and it just really helps you, especially if you've got a big opportunity or a big account. You can really save a lot of time by having that quick summary of everything that's been going on.
I absolutely love this piece, this AI piece, and you're right, we are customer number one. So this isn't generally available as we speak today, but it's on its way. And so naturally we've tested it internally, and this is something I speak to my customers about because I'm a geek and I love this kind of information. But this AI summary piece is incredible. And like I said, we've tested it on our own, and a couple of my opportunities, we've tested the AI results, and it's absolutely spot on. And I think this is so important because, again, it's delivering that information in an easy way to consume. But also when somebody's, for example, out of office on holiday, and which is absolutely definitely resonates for me right now, going on leave end of day tomorrow. So when somebody logs in and has to look at my opportunities, they can quite clearly see the status, the summary, the next steps, and who's responsible for doing what. So I especially love this piece, and I have already dropped it to a couple of customers just because I'm excited, and I love to share that excitement, as you know. And then just reversing slightly to the Sugar Automate piece. Again, you've absolutely nailed it. It is the consistency. So, when we're trying to implement guided ways of doing things, and we're trying to implement consistency, across a business, having that automate piece to really calling out the timeline and the call of actions and things we need to do to follow a procedure and make sure that procedure is consistent is absolutely relevant. Thanks, Andy. We've covered lots already, and just a couple more pieces which I think are definitely useful for customers to see. One, in case they're not using, and two, if they're using, they get a good idea as to what's new. Can we talk a little bit about the enhanced forecasting piece? So looking at what we've seen so far, we're looking at very much today and the future. But something that's so important is understanding growth and what's happened in the past, almost to the past, the present, and the future. How do we help organizations and users really get a good understanding of what it looked like 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 24 months ago, today, and moving forward?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that, say, I've been with Sugar a long time, so I've seen the evolution of our reporting, and one of the things that Sugar reporting is great. I mean, any field, any module you can report off, and as we've already shown in the previous sections of this presentation, the reports there are extremely useful. The fact you can drill down, etc. But one thing that's a bit trickier to do, and something that we recognised, was that people want to see trends over time. People want to see what did our business look like this same point last month? What's changed this week? And Sugar, the enhanced forecasting within Sugar is perfect for that. So you have a series of pre-built dashlets that allow you to quickly get value and insights, rather than having to kind of build a BI or use a BI tool to perform these, and which will obviously take lots of knowledge of the data model inside Sugar and things that we know better. We know how Sugar works. So what you see here is an example of pipeline analysis. 6 dashlets that are pre-built and that show you all sorts of different things. So I'll pick a couple here just with the time we have today. So this one's a particularly popular one in terms of for managers. So you'll see here the start of the week that this data is referring to. This our pipeline was 10.4 million, and at the end of the following week, or the start of the next week, the pipeline was 8.29 million. So you might think, well, that's gone down a bit. But the good news is actually it's gone down, because you'll see here that actually we closed one, 2.94 million. So actually, if you put those two together, you actually, we've actually done well there. So you can see exactly what's happened between the start of the week to the end of the week, and you can see we closed one this much. We've this bit came out the pipeline. This segment kind of decreased. This segment was moved out to a different time period. And if you actually click at any of these different segments, you can then drill down into that underlying data as well. So if I just click on this segment here, it will then take you to the underlying data behind that as well. So you can really get to drill down into and really validate what's happening to my pipeline, because traditionally this is something that managers come in and they go, why is my pipeline changing? They have to spend a bit of time kind of picking through the details there, whereas this gives them instant access to see all the details behind those numbers. Another quick one on here, and that's probably worth talking around as well, is things like the funnel flow, which is showing you what's the stage that deals go to from the current stage. So if you're in negotiation stage, for example, ideally you want it to go to closed one, which in this case most of the deals go to closed one. However, what you don't want is to see a load of deals going into closed lost, because obviously if you've gone through the full sales cycle and then you've got deals going to closed lost, they're the ones you want to obviously avoid, because you've got the high cost of sale. So this allows you to see those details over time. That is more tricky with the standard operational reporting.
There's so much rich information there, and I think it takes it to the next step, isn't it? We're looking at the sort of the front end from the dashboard perspective, but then actually really interrogating that sales data, lead data, etc. So thanks, Andy.
So one other quick thing, actually, Lizzie, before you move on, I think it's also important that to recognize that these enhanced forecasting dashboards can also be blended together with the other dashboards I showed on those role-based dashboards as well. So you don't have to have a whole kind of separate area around this. If you're an executive, you're going to want to see a blend of, if you've got access to this, a blend of the operational reporting and potentially some of the enhanced forecasting.
Yeah, I've got you. So on some of the leadership dashboards, they'll have a combination of what we've seen in the dashboard piece, but they can also drag over some of these dashlets as in the enhanced forecasting. Brilliant. Okay, thanks, Andy. That's a good point to point out. Thank you. Okay, so conscious of time, because we were trying to keep this short, sweet, to the point, and give customers some good ideas as to what's being released recently. Just lastly, and again, this definitely resonates, certainly, amongst Sugar and also our customers, is mobile. There's still not enough people using Sugar mobile app, and this is so powerful because it really is helping us to do our jobs when we're on the road. It helps us to do things more efficiently, more quickly. Can you just talk very quickly about the app? And there's a couple of things I do want to call out on the app piece. But if you could talk through some of your favourite enhancements, that would be fab, please, Andy.
Yeah, sure. So again, I think this is an area that's Sugar's particularly strong. So I'd encourage anyone to, to take a look at the app. And the beauty of it is that as soon as you log into your instance, all those dashboards, all those things that we've just been talking about will automatically appear on the mobile app. So here you can see I've just got my phone here. It's an Android phone. We also have, those who don't know, we have a native iOS and Android phone application. And you simply, as soon as you log in, you get access to all of your information. And you can access all the same information that you saw before without having to, to build anything extra. This is all available even with the drill downs, even with the filters. All available like it is on the desktop. And obviously if you've got an iPad and things like that, obviously a bit more screen estate to play around with. But one of the things that we've added recently to the mobile app is the ability to be able to see to be able to use the maps functionality, something you may or may not be aware of. So you may have saw the maps earlier when we did when we showed that focus draw at the start. So you obviously seeing where your accounts are, planning your day potentially to go and visit certain accounts. But often when you're on the move, that's when you really need the maps information. So if I was to go into my list of, say, either account records or to contact records, so here if I go to contacts and go into say a filter here, I can actually either build a filter where I can pick a distance. If I go build filter and then say I want to have a say postcode or distance, so maybe so many miles away from with a radius within a certain zip code, or all the accounts in a certain number of miles. So this could be a perfect example. You come out of a customer meeting, you've got a bit of time spare, you can then find other companies or other people to go meet, to get the most out of your day, rather than guessing the distance of finding the right numbers here. I was going to pick one I built earlier. So here's 30 miles from this particular zip code because we're using US data in this demo environment. And here you can see it's brought me back from my current location, all the people within 30 miles of my current zip code. So I can then click on the record, find the person, go in and see, maybe go and see them for potentially. So just look at the map here, I can go and see where they are. And then I can obviously go and maybe plan a route to go and visit them. So I'm currently in the UK and this is US data, so routing won't work particularly well. But if you hit the route piece here, it would then tell you from where you currently are, this is the route you can take. You can also select multiple records as well to be able to work out a route across multiple records.
Something else that's fairly new to the mobile app is the caller ID. Can you tell us a little bit about the caller ID?
Yeah, please? Perfect. So this actually, again, kind of something that is a really nice addition to the mobile app. The ability to basically when you inside Sugar, you're going to have all your different contacts that you speak to. So what you can do is you can enable the caller ID. So when someone calls, you can essentially see, it will look to see, if you enable it, it will look to see if that number is recognized from the contact list inside your Sugar instance on your phone, and will tell you that this person is Andy Yeates from Sugar calling you, which may not be actually inside your normal phone directory, but it allows you then to answer the phone in a much more kind of personalized way than you would if you didn't have every single person's phone number in your phone. So again, just great for that customer service.
Yeah, definitely. I think being able to answer the phone, you say, "Oh, hey Andy, how are you?" and know who you're talking to immediately without having to do the "Hello, this is Lizzie from Sugar, how can I help?" I think that makes a big difference. And in fact, I had it recently with I had to call up to sort something with my car, and I rang, and as soon as they answered the phone, they said, "Oh, hello, Miss Heywood, how can we help you today?" And it's a nice touch. It's that personalization piece, which is
especially ringing a mobile phone number as well. I think you can't, you kind of a mobile, you kind of almost expect people to recognize who you are, don't they? So I guess if it's kind of a corporate system as well, then I think that just really gives you a good impression of the person.
Agreed. I've never forgotten it, and it was a couple of months ago now, and it did stood out. And I actually asked them what CRM they were using because I was so impressed with their how they answered the call, and it was personalized. So thank you. And so one last thing then, and everybody, most of my customers who I've discussed this with and those internally are probably sick to death of hearing me say this now, but one thing I've started using recently, and I cannot believe I haven't used it sooner, is being able to dictate notes. So for example, when I've had a call with a customer, I can use my mobile app. So this is especially useful when I'm on the road, but actually I've been using it even when I'm not on the road, because I can essentially open up an account, open up a note for that account, and start dictating the latest conversation or something I need to dictate. And it just means I can be multitasking. I know we can't realistically multitask, but sometimes I can. So walking around and dictating at the same time. And this has been so powerful for me. And then when I've shared it for customers, equally, they were completely unaware of it. Can you just give us a quick example of how that could work, please?
Yeah, sure. So this is a combination of the of Sugar, and also the the native functionality on your microphone on your phone. So here you've got, so if inside, say that the account record we were looking at before. So if I was going to a meeting, I may already have the meeting already in my diary, but let's say I did an ad hoc meeting like I just described there, where I went to go see a customer because I had some free time. So I go see this customer, I follow my previous meeting, a bit of an ad hoc meeting, and I go there, and obviously I could capture all this, capture the notes, and now create a meeting, log the meeting following the the completion of my previous one. I use the maps to find another customer nearby, and now in the meeting I can now make some notes just by typing in into my mobile app, capturing by keying things in. Or I could use the dictation function that Lizzie mentioned. So I'll do this live now. Great meeting, send a quote. So you can just, in the car park after your session, just quickly dictate in the car, and it just saves you. And I think when dictation was first around, it was so flaky that it was actually easier just to kind of type it rather than actually talk into your phone. But I think it's come on a long way. So I think it's definitely something just to try, because I think a lot of people find it much quicker to dictate into the meeting notes than just to sit there in your car for 20 minutes after the meeting when you want to get home.
Yeah, totally agree. And like I said, this is something I've been using a lot recently, because it is just such a time saver, being able to just upload it. In the example you showed us there is obviously one example, but I've been using it across so many different modules on the mobile app, just being able to dictate the outcome of my conversation, or not even my outcome, but just an update for an account. So yeah, this is something, if you haven't already rolled it out or encouraged use within your organization, I would say have a good look at making sure users have the app, and then perhaps doing a lunch and learn session on the value of using the app and how it can absolutely help users do get things done a lot quicker, which is what we're all trying to achieve. One thing I would say with the dictation piece, and I didn't necessarily do this, but just before I start to dictate, I say this note is dictated, because sometimes that there can be slight typos. So I think if we just caveat that from the beginning to the dictation piece, that makes good sense.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andy. That's been really helpful. And I hope also to our fabulous customers that have joined us for this quick high-level overview session of release highlights. Hopefully that's given you some food for thought, some blue sky thinking, pieces that you're perhaps not using, that you could be using. The intended purpose of this session was to be very short, sharp, concise, and just pick out some of those key pieces. As always, we're always on hand, happy to help. Any parts you've seen during the session today that you'd like to understand more, please do reach out to your customer success manager. As always, we'll be happy to jump on a call, jump on a meeting, and absolutely try and do the very best we can to help drive adoption. And just quickly before we do close out, another area where perhaps customers aren't using as much as they could be is the Sugar community. So everything we've discussed on the call today will be included in the release highlights, which is on our Release Central page on the Sugar Club community. And also lots of the information around dashboards. So how do we create dashboards if you're not using the newly released persona-based dashboards? How to maintain dashboards, and just generally everything that you could need to know on some of the pieces we've discussed today. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed what you've seen today. We hope it's been helpful, and we look forward to future conversation. Thank you, Andy, as always.